I'm not quite sure what I expected, but I thought it would be better than this. I'm your host. You can call me the Lone Transmitter. And coming to you live from the long haul truck stop, you're listening to Wasteland Free Radio. And this is a micro-fusion reaction. I know this is the apocalypse, or the post-apocalypse if you want to get specific, but I have gotten used to certain comforts. I usually sleep in a bed each night unless I'm out traveling the Radlands. I have coffee, I eat 2 meals a day, but if there's one thing I just can't live without, it's decontamination. And this isn't an ad, and local authorities didn't put me up to this. It's the one thing we agree on. Fair warning, it burns the first few times you do it, like a lot. But after a while, you get used to it, and if I'm being honest, I kind of like it. That says a lot about me, and I'm actually trying to be a little less personal on here. You never know when one of your exes might be listening. I don't want to, blow up anybody's spot. Oh, I don't want to blow anybody up. God, this is embarrassing. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, I think decontamination's really important, and when I do it, everyone else is safe. When you do it, everyone else is safe. It's a good idea. And they have decontamination chambers here at the long haul truck stop, but nobody is using them, and I can tell. Everybody can tell. Yup. And nobody cares. Maybe I'm just spoiled living in Yellowbrook City. We've done a pretty good job of making it a real, thriving chunk of civilization. That isn't to say I've completed my ultimate goal of restoring civilization to what it once was, but I don't know, I kind of think any progress can be seen as success, right? But despite how I feel, everybody here seems pretty happy. And I really try not to yuck anybody's yum. Maybe this rough and tumble lifestyle just isn't for me. If I was to live out here on the edge of civilization, as it were, I would definitely need some of those creature comforts. Yes, there are creatures outside the walls of this city. That's not what I'm talking about. I've been looking around for a Radio Shack to see if I can find something to fix my implant. Most of the tech I use is from the 1990s, whenever that was. But that being said, I haven't seen a Radio Shack. I think I'm out of luck. Once I find Max, I'll be okay. She knows how to fix me up, and she knows where to find anything. Anything and everything for a price. But all I know is that I'm supposed to wait for her here, and I don't want to stay here much longer than I have to. This place is designed to get you to spend your bits. And it's not like it's useless stuff. Water purifiers, ammunition if you're going hunting, and if you're going to find fuel anywhere, it's probably gonna be at a place like this. All the infrastructure is already there. Why start completely over again when there's something we can work with? One of the things I really respect this place for is their attention to detail. They want this to be the peak early 21st century experience, whatever that means. But in fairness, I've never actually eaten in the dining room here, mostly because I didn't want to be seated in the mass shooting section or the nuclear bunker, and this is just me, but I don't want to be served by an authoritarian dictator. Don't get me wrong, great for immersion. A+, 5 stars. But I would never go there again. I didn't even make it past reception. Something about not having papers, I don't know. The other eateries here are food trucks, and that is a wonderful detail to include. There's a lot of evidence to suggest that food trucks were super common before the apocalypse. Well, before the first apocalypse. I'm not suggesting the more food trucks there are, the closer we are to an apocalypse. I'm not saying it's a causality or whatever. I'm just saying it's a funny coincidence. That's all. Go get your tinfoil hats and save them for when you need to build a Faraday cage. Speaking of which, I'm out of tinfoil. I should probably find some. I've got to be careful though. I don't know how long we'll be gone. Also, I can't find Max, so I don't know when I'm even leaving. Man, this whole trip is a mess. I don't know what's going on. I ask everybody I know about the Great Devastation and what they think about it, what they think it might have been, and they just kind of shrug it off and say, who cares? And that's a valid opinion. I just have trouble digesting that. I really want to know where we came from. Not we as a species, I'm talking we as a people, as a society. Mostly because if we ever get back there, I don't want this to happen again. But I would be naive to think that we actually want to get back there. After all, it crumbled. Well, maybe it didn't crumble. It might have exploded or had an asteroid fall into it. The details are a little fuzzy. It depends on where and when you think the apocalypse started. I'm sure future historians will have a better idea because right now information isn't super reliable. Honestly, I hate admitting this, but you don't really want to rely on what I'm saying either. The Radlands look different for everybody. The best I can give you are my takes of Yellowbrick City and the other places I've seen and what little bits of news I get from other cities. It's not much. And nobody has heard a thing from New Spring City after the last Nuke Ball match, so I'm afraid they might just be gone. You know, maybe Nuke Ball is more problematic than I thought. I know the sport is dangerous, but I didn't really know about the long-lasting effects of these explosions. I knew there were some, but I've learned a lot throughout my conversations with the courier. They are considerably more well-traveled than I am, and let's face it, I grew up in a cave. I could stand to learn a bit more about the world around me. I guess it stands to reason we can't find more teams because they keep vaporizing.
Time is up, puny human.
Really? This guy again?
To put it away in a file and compress it to be destroyed.
At least he's talking to someone else this time, but...
Same time next week.
Alright, I'm gonna get out of here before it gets ugly.
It's always the same. Why do I go? I tell them what's wrong with me and I tell them
Thank you
what's wrong
again
with
for
me.
tuning in to Wasteland Free Radio, your very last source for news. Thank you everybody so much for listening to Wasteland Free Radio, produced by JS Picture Media. That's me. It's very silly, but I want people to know where to find me if they want to work on something together, you know? Sound design and background music by Space Crush, and you're currently listening to Bleachers by 11D7. If you enjoy the show, please leave us a review, and you can always find us on Patreon if you want to give us some support. Patrons receive bonus episodes, early access to regular episodes like this one, some behind-the-scenes stuff, and a bunch of other goodies. Please follow us on MyFace, and remember, it's okay to be a little out of touch for the sake of your sanity, but don't overdo it. You gotta pay attention.